welcome back, guys, to another video. A guy reached out to me, and this is a pretty common question that I get. And he asked, it's about the topic about regret, right? And I mentioned to you guys before on my prior videos some of my biggest regrets, and my motto is try to live life without regrets. But what I mentioned to him, and this was the main feedback, was as you're thinking about trying to not have any regrets in your life, especially when you're young, pretty much like the world is at your oyster, and unless you did any major F up early on in your life, you have a lot of flexibility. But the one thing that I always remind myself that I kind of tie into the whole regret is make sure that you reach your potential, right? Because guys, me, I was born with, a lot of good hands, or cards that I was dealt with, right? And it would be a major waste if, whatever I die or the end of my life, if I didn't reach my potential, if I didn't take advantage of the opportunities. You guys who are probably watching, you guys, I'm going to take a guess. You're probably in not so much of a bad situation, right? You don't have to worry about shelter. You don't have to worry about food. Hopefully you don't have to worry about safety on a day-to-day basis, right? So you're probably in you're in an okay position. Maybe you're not where you want to be, and especially for those who reach out, they have questions, which is great. You're trying to improve. But I told this guy, and I'm telling you guys, that start thinking about not like in a weird way every second, but as you go about your goals, as you go about every few months, especially at the end of the year, you want to make sure that you reach your full potential, and that full potential is going to be different than than somebody else, right? So for those who made the NBA or they made the NHL, they made the NFL, they reached their full potential, right? They were born with a lot of athletic gifts, good opportunities, training, the environment, and they took advantage of it. Thus, they reached their potential. Obviously, it depends on what they do afterwards, their second career, but at this current moment, they reached their full potential if they're actively playing that league. If you hit a certain salary, six-figure, by this X age, you're doing good. Is it your full potential? Who knows? Are you doing better than the average? Yes. But truly if you reach your full potential or not, right? When you're around nobody else, you're not in front of a camera, you're not in front of people, you're lying in bed, you wake up in the morning, the direction of your life. Is it heading to the right direction or the wrong direction? And if it's heading in the wrong direction, don't freak out, don't start crying, but realize that, okay, things are not going the way that I want them to be. How can I change it? You have to be asking yourself that. It could be a number of different factors: what you're doing, who you're hanging out with, where you're living, the career that you chose, the habits that you're doing on a daily, monthly, weekly basis, right? You have to be constantly asking yourself these. And if you're not, or you think that everything's just going to get better by themselves, well, you're in for a surprise, right? And it's not going to be a good surprise. It's going to be a bad surprise. So when thinking about regret, because guys, people have different priorities. They have different interests, right? So my regrets maybe not be a big regret for you, and vice versa. But I think as a common theme is we each probably have a full potential. A self-actualization also is what it's called. And if you're not reaching it, or if you're not there yet, or if you're not at least striving towards it, that is going to be a regret. That's a common thing I think everyone can agree upon, right? So if you wanted to travel somewhere, if you wanted to, test yourself in the dating market, if you wanted to become an entrepreneur, if you wanted to live in a different culture, if you needed to, try something else that's been kind of like itching at you, right? You need to, this is your full potential. And I'll leave it like this. When we were kids, when you were all kids, we had all these crazy wild dreams, right? Because we didn't really get jaded yet by the world. We didn't learn about human nature. We didn't deal with other people, like adult responsibilities. So we all had these crazy dreams, right? Making it to the NBA, becoming an astronaut. Maybe you wanted to work for the government, anything. You need to kind of take yourself back there, kind of reignite that youthful energy, that spark, and that kind of ties into your full potential. And if you kind of reach back, I'm not saying be a kid, act like a kid, or be immature, but if you kind of start thinking, getting excited about the future, you'll start to see a change in yourself. And that's where you'll start to get a little bit more excited about the world. All right, guys, so with that, I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions, book a call with me. First link in description. Please like and please subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.